How's our mic? Good evening, everyone. It's 6 p.m. on March 7th, 2022. This is the regular meeting of the Community Development Corporation of Los Fresnos. We hereby call the meeting to order. Act under B, Invocation and Pledge of Allegiance.
Let's pray. Father, we thank you for today, and we thank you for these individuals that are volunteer to help our community and serve, and we thank you for them and their families giving of their time. We ask you to bless them as they make decisions, and that they may be great decisions for our community. Special prayer for Polo tonight and his family, and we pray that that you bring a miracle and that you heal him and that he gets well. We ask this in your name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Mr. Milam. Under item C,
Good evening. My name is Jose Vasquez, and I want to introduce myself as the president for Los Fresnos Little League. As you guys know, we have been going through a lot of changes through the past year with COVID, and trying to grow the teams. I know last year we had 310 participants from pretty much everywhere because we had open boundaries. So we had Port Isabel, Brownsville, Harlingen, San Benito. This year, I'm pleased to announce that we did go back to our boundaries. Pretty much Little League closed the boundaries, so it's just to Los Fresnos. And of course, we have the Olmito community along as they're boundary out of Brownsville, and they didn't have a league in Sports Park, so we were able to take in those players from that area, which they come to school here in Los Fresnos. So we were glad we were able to do that. Very pleased to announce that right now we're at 400 kids for this year, and that is only for Los Fresnos community. This is not Port Isabel or Brownsville, San Benito. So I think that's a testament that we're going in the right direction, and definitely the community is growing, and there's a lot of development going. So I really foresee that our numbers are just gonna go up higher. Just to give you an example, our T-ballers, which is the smaller kids, 4 to 6 years old, we have 13 teams. We have over 140 kids right now for this year. Or some of you guys have played baseball before in Little League. I know our numbers have always been about 2 or 3 teams for the minors and majors divisions. Right now, we're at 5 teams for the majors, and we're at 6 teams for the minor divisions. So our numbers are growing tremendously, and it's a team effort. And Mr. Kitterman will be sharing a little bit about how we've been managing to get it done. But without the community support, without the help from all of us, as far as volunteers, our umpires, volunteering members, everybody else, we wouldn't be able to get this done. So we're here to thank you guys for the support that you gave us last year, and we just want to show you that with the effort and the support that we get from the community, I think this is just growing bigger and bigger. So we really look forward to having a great season this year, and we want to give back to our community, especially for our youth kids. So thank you guys very much for having us here, and Mr. Kitterman will be sharing some more information with you guys.
Hi guys, I'm Joe Kitterman. I'm the secretary for the Los Fresnos Little League. I brought you in. We owe this to you guys. This is a financial statement from last year. The CDC gave us $18,000 and some change last year. This is a financial breakdown of where all the money went throughout the season. As you can see, we ended up with $5,300 in equipment, which re-upped our equipment and brought us back up to standards and got rid of some of our old helmets. And quite frankly, without you guys, Little League wouldn't exist last year, and I don't think it exists this year. If you look down towards the bottom of the sheet, I did a little breakdown. In 2021, Little League had 310 children. The total expenses per child cost $108.42. We only charged last year $50 per kid, and we had to give a free season for the kids that had signed up in 20. So that's where a big chunk of the money went out. This year, we're anticipating a cost of about $103 to $104 per kid. We have raised our rates to $75, which is consistent with what Boys and Girls Club is charging for basketball and football and volleyball, in order to not finish so far in a deficit, because we can't get to $58 a kid. So right now we're at about $28 per kid. At 320 kids signed up, the Little League will finish in the hole $9,000 this year. And while having a great number like 400's one of the best news you could have for a community to grow your league that much and have that many kids involved. And we did an estimate. We end up seeing between 16 and 18,000 parents, students, fans in the stands, not counting the players, during the season at the games. That's how many people show up for all the different games all year long. So when we thought a couple weeks ago when we put this together, we were going to have about 320 kids. We need 18 sponsors at $500 a piece to break even. And now we're looking at, that number is going to grow substantially, about 80 times 28. We do have some sponsors and a lot of people from the Rotary Club. A lot of local businesses are starting to step up here as we get closer to time and starting to sponsor the teams. I think we've got a commitment from about 10 to 12 people right now. I'd expect to see that number to go to a solid 15 numbers. I'm not here to ask you guys for any money right now. I just wanted to let you know that your money was well spent last year. The community, it went off without a hitch. I think, we worked through some things, and working with the COVID stuff was great. And I just wanted to tell you guys from the bottom of my heart, thanks for making it happen for the kids. It wouldn't happen without you guys. So, if there's any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
The sponsor cost is $500 according to this sheet. Is that a team sponsor or just a sponsor?
Team sponsor and a banner in the outfield for the business or the community. So we have some parents that sign up and just buy a sponsorship with their name. And we also have a $300 sponsorship that's just a banner for some people want to just do that. But the team sponsor gets you a banner, the name of your business on the back of the shirts, and we invite you out to throw out an opening pitch when the kids' first game or second game is. And that's another thing I wanted to touch on with you guys. Because y'all made this happen for us last year, this year opening ceremonies will be March 26th. After this, we're going to a meeting to decide what time that'll be in the format for the opening ceremonies. After opening ceremonies, we will be playing a majors game. We'd love it if somebody from the Community Development Corporation came out and threw out the opening pitch for that game. We were lacked in recognition for you guys last year. And we'd love to try to make up for it a little bit this year.
Mr. Wattis, that information is on page 617 under another item later in the agenda.
you're not on the agenda for any funding, is that correct?
No, sir. We just wanted to bring you a financial statement.
Okay, when you come back and they put them in for,
It's on the agenda. I put it on the agenda. He didn't know that it was on the agenda later, and if you'll see action item number 3, it's on the agendas.
Thank you.
okay, so it's a presentation ahead of the action item, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, because I was gonna say, if you can put it it would be next meeting. I think the CDC is, big enough where we should have our own team. But I can't decide for myself unilaterally, but if we can put it on the agenda, maybe we can discuss that. We could do both. Okay, so that concludes your presentation.
That's it, guys.
Okay,
There's no
we'll
more
move
questions.
down the line and don't leave the room.
Don't leave the room. Okay.
Okay, moving on to item D, Citizens Forum. Is Jackie, anybody sign up? Moving on to action items under E, on number 1, consideration and action to approve the minutes from February 7th, 2022. These are contained in the packets.
I'll go ahead and make the motion to approve the minutes for February 7th, 2022.
Go ahead and second.
There's a motion and a second that we approve the minutes from February 7th, 2022. Any questions, comments, discussion? That being the case, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, it's unanimous. Moving on to E, action items number 2, consideration and action to acknowledge the February 2022 financial report under A, monthly, B, year-to-date, and C, sales tax report. Mr. Milo.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, if you'll turn to page 6 in your package, you'll see the checks that were written. Nothing unusual that has not been approved or you shouldn't be aware of with action that you've taken, either with the budget or prior approval. The next page, 7, shows the breakdown of our revenue. So far, out of the $510,380 budget, we've collected $233,256.94, which is 45.7% of the budget. We are at 5 months, so that's 41.67. So we're above projected, which is what you always want to be. And then on the disbursements, 77,225, we're below that. Some things don't come till the end of the year, and then you do have quite a bit of balance that's under special projects that are not assigned. So that's the reason why. So everything's looking good there on page 7. Page 8, you'll see the breakdown of the sales tax, and so it's doing really good on sales tax, and we'll see that here at the end of the presentation. The next few pages are just the breakdown in the categories that we put them in. Since I mentioned special projects, if you look on page 10, the very bottom, it shows special projects. Started with 257,000, a little bit more, and we spent 5,000. So there's 232,000 that's what we call special projects that are unassigned in case park project, a business comes in with some big need. You have plenty of funds to be able to do those things. I will also mention on page 11, I usually don't, but the business incentive program, we've always put $20,000 in there, and that's for storefront improvements, signs, those kinds of things. The last about 3 years, we've spent between 10 and 12,000, but we still kept it at 20. Well, we've had a lot this year. Some carried over from last year. You see, we're already at 18,000. So probably next month or so, I'll come with a budget amendment to move some of that special projects into there, but probably just a few thousand to make the rest of the year. But that's a good thing because it's something that goes directly to help our business community. And then the last thing on page 15 is the sales tax report. You see, we still have an increase, a little bit less than the month before, still a 5% increase over last year, which shows a 9.14% increase for the year. Still very good, very healthy, and that comes after, if you'll see right above that, a 16% increase the year before. So pretty good sizable continued business growth in our community. So that's all my report.
Thank you. Do I hear any questions, comments, discussions? Do I hear a motion?
Yes, sir. I'd like to, motion to acknowledge the February 22 financial report, A monthly, B year-to-date, and C sales tax report.
Second.
second.
There's a motion and a second that we acknowledge the February 2022 financial report under A monthly, B year-to-date, and C sales tax. Any further questions, comments, discussion? That being the case, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it, it's unanimous. Moving on to E, action item 3, consideration and action to support Los Fresnos Little League baseball and softball programs.
Mr. Chairman, I knew that you would request that I put it on, so I put it on. The league did not ask for this, but I knew that you would want to at least consider it. So I had it put on because of the help last year. They didn't want to ask again, but you know, like you said, if we could support a team, there's the different levels there on page 17.
I have a question for the $1,000 one. The team sponsor, you have two. Would that be two teams or that,
You'd probably want to pick one in major and minors or T-ball, depending on which one you want.
Mr. Milo?
How many leagues you got? T-ball?
13 people. How many T-ball teams do we have?
No, you have T-ball, you have minors.
T-ball, minors, majors, and Coach Rich, and boys.
Wow.
And then in girls, we got T-ball, minors, Coach Rich, and majors.
Wow, you got all four, okay. That's why they got so many players. Teams.
I would like to make a motion to go ahead and support the Little League with the Grand Slam program. For the amount of $1,000.
The Grand Slam? One time. Okay, how much did we give last year?
$18,842.51. And if you remember, that was to catch up and there was needing some supplies to be purchased. There was also the issue that you know, some things were bought in 2020 and then they couldn't have the league. And so the parents felt that I shouldn't have to pay in 2021 if I paid in 2020, but you couldn't use all of those same jerseys and stuff that had already been purchased. So there was some catching up to do.
I have a question. Can we just provide them like a lump sum like we did last year instead of trying to decide who we're gonna sponsor? Would that help? That'd be a smart move.
I'm sure they'll accept anything. And I think it's good to have a team though.
Any questions, comments? I want to hear comments because I'm Mr. Frugal with some things, but I'm not frugal all the time. And to me, $1,000 is somewhat frugal.
Could we put the 1,000 toward 2 teams and then add to that, just as an open gift for their discretion?
Yeah, because the way I read it was one of the sponsorships, so that's why I went with that. But if we can do it as an action item and do, like what you say a different amount or whatever, I'm sorry, have a different amount, I mean, I'm all for it. I was just reading because of the sponsorship form that we had here.
So we have a motion right now. You want to retract that motion and make a different decision?
Yes.
Mr. Vasquez, I have a question. So you're asking for the committee here to sponsor teams?
We will take any help that you guys can provide us. So if it's with the
Well, Mr. Vasquez, your handout here says you need 17 sponsors. Is that correct? So by doing the Grand Slam 1,000, we're sponsoring one team, 2 teams.
And so the
Anybody
names
have a
of,
diff-
excuse me. So the names of the sponsors, we're just gonna put on the back of the T-shirt, you're gonna have the sponsor's name, correct? Yes, sir. And that's gonna be what, CDC?
One thing to consider is if we sponsor, let's say hypothetically 5 teams, that's $2,500. It's not a problem, but you want to leave some teams the opportunity or some other sponsors an opportunity. Yeah, so we'd have to probably, my recommendation is we sponsor a couple of teams, but, you know, we can send them
Maybe different levels instead of just one level. Or you playing against each other, CDC against CDC. But you're gonna be getting other sponsors from other businesses, correct? You should be getting some of those.
So right now, I think we have about 10 committed. We've got a few that we're looking at coming in still. And over the next few weeks, as baseball starts going, we'll see some more people wanting to sponsor. But if they want their names on the back of the jerseys, they got to get in the next 2 weeks. Other than that, they're going to get banners in the outfield and stuff like that.
Anybody have a different number besides one Grand Slam?
Well, I can make a recommendation. I'd like to sponsor one team at least, just so that we can throw the name out there from the Los Fresnos Community Development Corporation. But I say we write them a grant for a total of $5,000, so one $4,500 grant and sponsor one team.
Well, how about if we do the $1,000, but put one team in the boys and one team in the girls. And they'd never play each other.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, if we sponsor more than one team, we can let them select, or we can select, we want one baseball, one softball, or something like that. 2 different divisions maybe, or something like that.
If we were to give you 5 Grand Slam sponsors, can you spread them out to where we don't have CDC 1 and CDC 2?
Then, if I promise you I can give you a majors team, but I got a majors dad that's gonna give me $500 to sponsor his team, and I gotta tell him, well, I can't do it, I kinda end up in trouble. I'd love to get you guys in as many divisions as possible with the CDC sponsorship on the back, but I also don't wanna turn away, Billy's Automotive or, something like that, and lose money there at the same time.
Why don't you do,
Does
there's
it-
4 in each 4 girls and 4 boys, right? Why don't you go 4 Grand Slams, that's 4,000, and then give them the ability to, any one of the 4 divisions in the girls or the 4 division of the boys, be a sponsor if there's one available, but don't turn down the money on someone else that you can do, and then use that extra for wherever it goes.
Right, that's the point I was trying to make. We don't want to take 10 teams and then
Correct.
not leave enough opportunity for other sponsors to help them out as well. So I was gonna suggest sponsoring 1 team, maybe 2, and then just giving them a grant from the Community Development Corporation.
Do the sponsor for one team, and then the additional funds will be utilized for anything else without having to put the name.
So what you're suggesting is sponsor 2 Grand Slams and then donate or fund an extra amount?
No, my suggestion was to sponsor 1 team or 2 with a Grand Slam, and give them some money, some cash. So let's say for example, 1 Grand Slam and then $4 grand as a gift or donation.
Any further questions, discussion, comments? We can,
Well, I like the idea that Mark was talking about, combination of both of them.
I'm open for motions.
A motion?
Maybe we end up with 3 kids in T-ball that all have CDC, but now everybody has a sponsor. The kids would like to have a sponsor on their shirt too. So if we use you guys to fill in the gaps with it, like say you did $5,000, that's 10 teams. That gives us the option to fill in some of those blanks. Maybe we only end up with needing 8, so we put you on the 8 teams that are blanks, and try to get you into different divisions. Because there's certain people who sponsor that, don't really care what division it's on. They're not part of, their kids aren't playing too.
There's already a motion, Albert had already made the motion, so
Yeah, he retracted it.
He was working on an amendment to his motion. You want to try that motion re-amended?
So then, we'll go ahead and do the one sponsorship, and then give them the 4,000, right, correct? That's. You're making a motion? Go ahead. Okay. Okay, so I'll make a motion that we get the Grand Slam package, and then we'll go ahead and donate the other $4,000 to the Little League.
For a total of 5, I would second that.
Do I hear a second?
I second that.
Any further questions, comments, discussion? That being the case, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Best of luck.
How about a name for the field, CDC? Think about that for next year, huh? Under E, action item 4, consideration and an action to approve funding for street improvements. Mr. Milo.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, the city's doing a pretty large street project. And in history, we've kind of pulled out some streets where, that carry either people to businesses. We've done alleys before that carry, get traffic out of the businesses, especially along 100 where there's so little and they don't have anywhere to go except the alley. And so we've identified 3 streets that that would get that. We can't do residential streets because you're Economic Development Corporation to help our business community. One of them is Nogales Street, which it's just that first block that would help with the library. It would help with Ocean Plaza, which has, I think, 18 different businesses in there. And then as well as you know, what we just talked about, Little League, that the city has a parking lot that feeds off of that. So that would all qualify. The other one is Como Street, Ocean Boulevard to the next street is right behind Dairy Queen. If you've ever been that way, there's some problems with where it sunk in years and years ago. But that area needs to do. A lot of people come Dairy Queen, and now there's other businesses developing along there, and they don't go back to 100. They go the back way. The other one is West 5th Street, and that's a big one because of the way that it's Circle K now, and where Angel's is, and where the old county building is. They use the alley, but they also use 5th Street they go back the alley, through the alley to 5th Street and make that circle to get back either to Alamo Street or to Arroyo Boulevard and hit the light. And so those 3 streets we've identified as ones that could be funded through CDC. As you can see from my notes, it comes up to $173,000. That's just engineer's estimate. And so to make it simple, I'm requesting that approval for up to 175. If it's less than that, of course, it'll be less. We're getting ready to go out for bids on those, and so we'll know in another month. But that way we could have this already taken care of up to 175,000. Financial, I also put in there, you know, I mentioned before about the $232,000 in special projects that we have not tapped. There's also a fund balance that rainy day fund that the CDC has. It's going to be $373,000 after our audit is completed, which is pretty sizable. We're going to add we added 100 and some thousand to it this year that I haven't reported yet because the audit's not done. That will be for next month. So we've got plenty of emergency funds, not only in our fund balance, but also in the special project fund.
So your suggestion is that the 175 come from the 232 that's available in special projects?
Correct.
But that 175 is not set in stone, right? That's just a rough estimate? I mean, we still...
Up to. Once we get bids, we don't have to come back, and it'll be up to, they'll bid them by streets, and so we'll know exactly on those. If it ends up 165, well, then it'll be that number. If it ends up 180, it'll still be capped at 175, and the city will take care of the rest.
Any questions, comments, discussion on this? Do I hear a motion on the 175 from the Special Projects Fund balance?
Yeah, sure. A motion to approve the funding for the street improvements in the amount as recommended, not to exceed 175,000.
I'll go ahead and second that.
Are you going to add to that or leave out that it's to come from the Special Projects Fund balance?
Sure. Yeah, that's clearly out of the special projects fund, the remaining 232, so it's projected, I amend my motion to have it come out of that particular fund for up to 175,000.
Was there a second, and is it reaffirmed?
I'll go ahead and second that.
We have a motion and a second that we approve the funding of not to exceed $175,000 for street improvements, specifically that money to come from the special projects, which currently has a balance of $232,000. Question, comments, discussion? That being the case, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, it's unanimous. Moving on to Section F, report by CDC consultant under 1, CDC consultant report February 2022, under A, economic development, B, community and affordable housing development, D, promotion and expanding the Los Fresnos brand. Mr. Martinez.
Good evening. Thank you. Just wanted to congratulate you for a fantastic job that everybody's doing. It takes a team. And I want to congratulate the Rodeo and Livestock Show for a fantastic program that you all participate in and branding Los Fresnos throughout South Texas and bringing a lot of visitors and economy to this area. Economic development businesses areas and area residents continue to look for sites, information, and technical assistance. Interest in Los Fresnos continues to grow, with several contacts being made to the City Hall and the other CDC office. The permit office, for example, our permit officer says that we have 3 to 4 persons looking for residential sites per week contact their office. She also said in commercial, she has 3 to 4 more or less contacts made. So the fluidity of contacts, the objective is to work with developers and landowners and site owners to provide them information of opportunities to connect them. Basically, that's what we do. There's also another food franchise business that had requested permitting and business incentives information for our office, and we look forward to seeing that come to fruition soon. Community and the affordable housing development in that area worked. One of the projects you all funded was, of course, the demolition of the invasive Brazilian plants. And the contractor has completed phase 1. Of course, this is our first venture into demolition of these invasive plants. And the contractor has finished shredding the whole land area except the edge of the water. The reasons are stated there are 2 reasons. It's one, the contractor was not licensed to work in areas of body of water with spraying of plants. And of course, the second is that the property owners of that area that are at the edge of the water belong to the property owners across the area. We'll be working on it. As you can see, within the next 6 months, let's see how much effect the demolition work has worked. And we'll be revisiting, Mr. Smiley can provide more details and future plans as he did last month on the planning concepts that present to you for that area. Community volunteers, activities, and events continue at all the Los Fresnos parks. And the Los Fresnos Nature Park and Caracara Trail will be the location for Earth Day, so it's the talks between volunteers, Lions Club, etc. Bianca is working with them, our college intern, and seeing if we can bring this into fruition as well to continue some positive work and hopefully doing some replanting. I noticed my friend here, Joe Kitterman, in the nursery business, we're going to send out requests for them to see if they can donate some plants or something so we can have also reforestation of that area that we're doing demolition on. Didn't want to catch it like that, but that's what we do. There you go. There we go. We have requested to meet with the community development on housing, affordable housing. As you understand, part of the role of community development is to have diversified housing opportunities. And we do have that, but we're also asking other parties to bring in other opportunities for the working class or lower and moderate income, a single family housing ownership. The value of ownership of a home is all relative in terms of what you can afford to buy. So we're hopefully working with a major owner of some land here, which is Community Development Corporation of Brownsville. I had done some over here at California Road subdivision in that area in the past, hopefully to motivate or start a dialogue to bring more opportunities for that, different levels of income of persons, and to work with the U.S. Department of Agriculture, USDA, that has a wonderful program in loans of 3% for affordable homes in this area, parts of the area. I'll keep you posted how that goes. Promotion and expanding of the Los Fresnos brand. This has been a continual program. If our partner that does that as well with us, the Chamber of Commerce, as you can see, we have our new brochure that we'll be sending out. I had told you we're working at it, takes a lot of detail, but we have in our new brochure the city of Los Fresnos, and of course, our objective is to promote more families moving into town and building homes here, new homes in our development. So we work with the realtors, the residential businesses and multifamily sites that are being developed throughout town, as you can see. And of course, we promote all our 19 plazas little plazas, it's all relative business with plazas in town with this promotion. And we do work with our partnerships. And the other side, you will see the Los Fresnos area market. Los Fresnos is a center of the area market from Bayview to Laureles, possibly even Arroyo City and northern Brownsville to the Rancho Viejo as well. So we are a center of a rural developing area that's developing very quickly. As you can see, we promote in this section of the plan, we promote the annual events that we have, that we work together with the chamber and the city and the CDC, the attractions that we have in here for people to visit, and of course, the health programs that the city has. A very successful program is Su Salud Si Cuenta, Your Health Matters. And of course, facilities available, while modest, they're still good. We promote them for people to come into town and have meetings in this area as well, if they have some kind of campaign. We're going to be doing a mail out of these to all the Brownsville businesses at the Port of Brownsville, at the Port of Port Isabel, and be putting them out, like I said, at the Tourist Center, hopefully another one going up North Texas, or rather north here, and many other areas. We send them out also to the RV parks, et cetera, et cetera. Our major attractions and all, we'll be giving them at least 50 to 100 copies each so they can use it, and those developers, the development home, with their businesses. Just wanted to, if you have any questions or referrals, our office is open.
Does he have some questions on behalf of the Cameron County Master Gardeners? They've been already contacted by the Girl Scouts and the Lions Club that want to participate in the Earth Day activities, whether it's on Earth Day itself or at least in the month of April. And they're wondering, the Master Gardeners, about how to coordinate to make sure that projects don't happen haphazardly, that it's a unified project, what funding might be available, what are resources, what the city guidelines would be so that nobody goes out of bounds on doing anything, stuff like that, the best way to coordinate all of this.
Correct, and it will be, we will do that and work through our office and the city manager's office to make sure that, I understand that the missus has been going to chair this with the Lions Club, Girl Scouts, and us. And all.
Yeah. And
good. I'll be more than happy to be a team player and see how we can help this thing happen. Because Earth Day is going to be part of the whole concept of this community, and the investment of the trail and the park and all these activities that wonderful volunteers have is to make them successful, and we pitch in. So yes, our office will, and that's the missus. I'll be more than happy to
Judy and
get it done.
Priscilla and another intern are
Judy,
gonna-
Priscilla, myself, Bianca, and then we report to Mr. Mylan and we'll see what we can do.
Yeah,
We got 45 days.
her request is that it gets started
Right now.
before the week before.
You got it. I know that. We got 40-some days and counting. It will be done, sir. And we'll report back to you what's happened.
I have
Yes,
a
sir.
question regarding that comment I made last meeting
Yes, sir.
about the file being available on the website.
Yes.
That would be something good that we need to work on the website, because we're CDC, and I was going through our website in CDC, and we need to promote a little bit more
That's
the
correct.
businesses, and that's probably the cheapest way that we will be able to do. So if, like I said, it shouldn't take that long to
No.
do that.
No,
But if you want to, we can get together later and I can
Give you a
help
buzz.
you in anything you guys need.
Thank you. Mhm. That's wonderful. Yes. It takes a team. Anything else? My cell phone, you all have it? Okay, it's there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez. Moving on to item G, report by general manager under under A, cameras, B, infrastructure project, caution lights, C, Veterans Memorial, and D, memorial and community park signs. Mr. Milo.
Nothing new to report on the cameras, just haven't been able to get all together to make that happen. Hopefully, we can have something by next meeting. Infrastructure project, the caution lights, talked to Chief Daniels, and they're still, the subcontractor's still working with TxDOT to get approval, so hopefully he gets that and that project gets done. Veterans Memorial, I've sent all the questions. Mr. Casanova and Mr. Keeler and I met and before last meeting, and I sent those over to the architect, and he's working on them. I talked to him last week, and he said he wouldn't have it for this meeting, but have something for next meeting. I think everybody's going to be real excited about it, and the comments and the questions and the new ideas from Mr. Keeler and Mr. Casanova were very good. That going to have a good finished product. I think so. That'll be for next time. Just wanted to mention memorial and community signs. If you haven't seen them, they look really, really sharp. new, vibrant colors. You know, I would have picked just the old standard so, but they really pop and stand out. So you might look, the Memorial Park sign, they forgot the decal for CDC, so they're gonna get that on this week. They did not forget it on the community park sign on Highway 100, so that's already, there. So look at those, they look really good. And that's all my report.
Thank you, Mr. Mylum. Moving on to item H, committee reports. Anybody have any item to report on any of the committees?
Would be able to, I don't know if anybody wants to join on our group, myself and Bill Lubin, we need to replace Mr. Keeler. So I don't know if anybody's interested from this group. Jump on. For the, city development? New industry, I'm sorry, city development.
I'll go ahead and volunteer on that one, and also I would like to volunteer for the Advertising Promotion Committee.
Well, it's well noted. If you want to be on the committee, you're more than welcome. Thank you for your effort. And any further questions, comments on the committees?
I'll go ahead and volunteer.
Does that make it a full committee? Okay. That being the case, we move on to item I, meeting adjourned.